I want to do this shit. You know what to do. Feel weird.
Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk there with me. I know a place where we can be free. There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. And shadows and gloom are all that you see. We'll find a place where we can be free. From the mountain top down to the deepest valley, hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun shining in the darkest valley. Can't you see you will be free? I have been far, I have been wide, searching for peace, somewhere to hide. Now I am free, open and pure, fearless and babe, I am secure. There is no dark that can't be lit. We'll find a way if we just commit. We are one. Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk there with me. I know a place where we can be free. There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. And shadows and gloom are all that you see. We'll find a place where we can be free. From the mountain top down to the deepest valley, hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun shining in the darkest valley. Can't you see you will be free? I have been far, I have been wide, searching for peace, somewhere to hide. Now I am free, open and pure, fearless and babe, I am secure. There is no dark that can't be lit. We'll find a way if we just commit. We are one. There is no them and us. Together we're strong. Together we're free. From the mountain top down to the deepest valley.
Okay, you guys, good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm Staff Sergeant McPherson. I do 92 Yankee content. Been doing this podcast for a minute. We're gonna cover chapter 4 in AR 735-5 this morning. Before I get started, you guys, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. And like I said, we're just going to be going over AR 735-5 chapter 4 this morning. So let's go ahead and get started, you guys. I wanted to get started at 8 o'clock just to give some people some time to get in here. And we're going to go ahead and get started, you guys. So chapter 4, methods of obtaining release from responsibility or accountability for property. So administrative action, right? Hold on, my thing messing up. Administrative action. So it says this chapter implements DoD policy prescribed by DoD 7014-R and additional administrative measures available to commanders to ensure enforcement of property accountability. When property becomes lost or damaged, use one of the adjustment methods discussed in this regulation. These administrative measures are designed to protect the right of the government to obtain reimbursement for the loss or damage of government property. These methods are material accounting oriented and are not appropriate for nor intended to be used as corrective action or punishment. When negligence or willful misconduct is known or suspected to have contributed to the loss or damage of government property, do not constitute a punishment, do not and will not preclude the use of adverse administrative or disciplinary measures, do not commanders at all levels who determine that the cause of loss or damage warrants adverse administrative or disciplinary action will take appropriate action. These actions include but are not limited to an oral or written reprimand, appropriate remarks in officer, non-commissioned officer, and civilian evaluation reports. So just to elaborate on this a little bit, you guys. So if somebody in your unit whether if it's an officer or NCO, when you lose property or when the commander is suggests negligence or willful misconduct, it can't go on your NCO yards or OCO yards or OA yards, you guys. So military occupational specialty reclass, barter reenlistment, action under the Uniform Military Code of Justice. And then the last one is adverse action against civilian personnel as authorized. So that was 4-1, you guys. So next one, we're going to get into reporting requirements, 4-2. Persons responsible for government property will immediately report in writing all losses or damages to their immediate supervisor or commander. The report will state the circumstances of the loss or damage and a listing and a description of the property involved. So this is sworn statement, you guys. So if you feel, and I'm talking to people who probably not supply related, or if you feel that you have lost something and you're supposed to do a layout for it, you feel like you lost it, go ahead and prepare a sworn statement and let the supply sergeant know what equipment you think you lost or whatever, so we can go ahead and take the proper forms of action. So next it says when reporting personal arms and equipment according to AR 190-11 or whenever the loss appears to involve unlawful conduct, report incident to military law enforcement authorities for investigation. Personal arms and personal equipment are the weapons and equipment assigned to soldiers for their use. This includes a soldier's OCIE issued to them. A preliminary, so yeah, OCIE, somebody, this includes OCIE, you guys. So you want to get a police report. If you feel like you need a police report for your OCIE items, you guys. A preliminary investigation by the military or security police will assist the commander when taking action according to this regulation. Losses of equipment with sensitive or classified components or technology must be reported through the local S2 and supporting counterintelligence element within 24 hours to determine potential compromise by foreign powers. Communication security, cryptographic, high-value property or controlled cryptographic item losses require incident report in accordance to TB 380-3-41. Report U.S. Army Reserve element losses or damage incurred to the next higher U.S. Army Reserve Command and, if appropriate, to the regular Army law enforcement activity or provost marshal having area responsibility. So this is Army Reserve. Says when government property is reported missing, commanders at all levels, primary hand receipt holder or accountable property officer will initiate preliminary investigation and search to be conducted to ensure the missing property is actually missing before an adjustment document per this policy is initiated. So like I said, when the supply sergeant reports this stuff up, they will ensure the missing property is actually missing before an adjustment document is initiated. So says the preliminary search will be aggressively pursued to meet the time limits prescribed. In cases when a unit reports the loss, damage, or destruction of Class 9 items, with a recoverability code of D, F, or H, a copy of the documentation used to investigate the incident will be provided to the SSA APO. So recoverables, you guys, if it got a recoverability code of a D, F, or H, a copy of the documentation used to investigate the incident will be provided to the SSA chief. A completed DD Form 200 blocks 1 through 14 does not have to be submitted. And this is hold on. So next one is when government property in the hands of a contractor is lost, damaged, FAR government property clause will be followed, and if necessary, a DD Form 200 will be initiated per 12-11. When reporting government property damage or missing incidental to shipment by common or contract carrier, the consignee, APO, or transportation officer will initiate either a DD Form 361, Transportation Discrepancy Report, SF 364, a report of discrepancy as appropriate. Individuals are responsible for proper care, custody, and safeguarding of all OCIE issued to them in accordance with AR 190-51, AR 700-84, and AR 710-4. Theft loss, physical loss, or loss of accountability, suspected theft, accounted or recover arms, ammunition, and explosive require incident report in accordance with AR 190-11 and this regulation. So you guys, so that is basically the reporting part, you guys. So now we're about to cover 4-3. 4-3, you guys. So administrative action to be taken for causes of other than fair wear and tear. Says when government property of any kinds becomes lost or damaged by causes of other than fair wear and tear, take administrative action. According to this paragraph, these actions apply to all property, whether non-expendable, durable, expendable, formally accountable, or informally controlled. This action will determine the facts concerning the incident and the amount of the loss to the government, access financial liability if appropriate, and or provide relief from responsibility and accountability. Okay. So the first one is obtain relief from property responsibility by following actions, using the most appropriate method for the circumstances and value of loss. So the first one is DA Form 7923, which is a statement of charges. 2, cashier provisions per paragraph 4-4. Bravo, a flipper. AR 15-6, abandonment order per 12-18. Memorandum to adjust losses. Damage statement, collateral investigations for aircraft accident used in conjunction with DD Form 200. Inquiries to adjust losses of expendable, durable, and non-expendable items when negligence or willful misconduct is not suspected. Memorandum for record to adjust non-expendable items consumed in use per paragraph 12-24 of this regulation. Inventory adjustment report, DD Form 4170, DD Form 361, SF 364, and it says, regardless of the method of accounting for property loss, damage, or destroyed, title of the property remains with the government. Funds collected from an individual voluntarily admitting or assessed with liability does not constitute a sale of property. When property is recovered after financial transactions have been completed for voluntary payments or assessed, amend specific administrative action and reimburse funds to the charged individual. So that was 4-3, you guys, where it just basically talk about administrative action to be taken for causes of other than fair wear and tear. And they're going to cover some more of this stuff down in here some more. So the next one is voluntary payment limitation. The following persons may pay the actual loss to the government in cash, check, money order, or payroll deduction, except when the value of actual loss exceeds 1 month's base pay or 1/12 annual salary or when applicable or AR 15-6 investigation is mandatory per paragraph 5-3. Okay, so when it says in 5-3, you guys, so all service members and civilian employees of the regular Army or Army Reserve or members and employees of the National Guard may admit financial liability and offer cash, check, or payroll deduction payment in an amount not to exceed to a person's monthly base pay. This applies to the payment of an individual's share of collective liability when more than one person is assessed with financial liability. Okay, so Table 7-1 shows how to compute financial liability against one person, and Table 7-2 and 7-3 describe computed financial liability against multiple people. So y'all can look at the different tables to determine how multiple people can be charged for when they admit negligence. So Army civilians will process a DD Form 2481, request for recovery of debt due to United States by salary offset through their HR representative for payroll deduction submission. A contractor admitting financial liability for any amount may pay cash or check subject to their contract. Contractors admitting liability cannot use a DA Form 7923. And it says replacement by cash purchase. A person who admits liability may voluntarily purchase replacement for loss of government hand tools or OCIE from the SSSC or CIF. So they can replace them items, you guys. If somebody's admit negligence, they have the option to replace them items from SSSC or CIF, which is probably going to be the same price sometimes. So yeah, says gonna calculate the actual loss per Appendix B, you guys. That's basically Appendix B is telling you the depreciation, how much to depreciate for each item. Accept payment made by cash or check. When lack of item availability prevents immediate purchase, account for the loss or damaged hand tools or OCIE items by using DA Form 7923. See paragraph 4-6 for procedures for initiating and processing a DA Form 7923. For National Guard, the Finance Office may authorize replacement in kind when lack of item availability prevents cash sales or hand tools at the SSSC. This rule does not apply to regular Army and Army Reserve members. Finance Office sale of hand tools to National Guard members and National Guard technicians is optional. Do not make cash sales without the DA Form 7923 or written authorization signed by the individual commander or designated representative. The authorization statement follows. The authorization statement follows. I authorize whoever the soldier is, their grade, to purchase the following hand tools or OCIE. Purchase items will remain the property of the U.S. government. Difference in actual value is chargeable to the accounting reclassification for the mission or base operation element funding the operation in which the tools or OCIE were used. So you guys, when you charge them, a soldier or anybody, with something they have lost or something, and they admit to liability, and you do the 7923, the commander can authorize them to purchase it from SSSC if it's hand tools, or purchase it from CIF. But they gotta the authorization statement they have to say that they authorize the soldiers to purchase that from whatever place they try to purchase it from. So where was I at? So it said the unit retains copy 2 of the DA Form 7923 until the copy 1 is returned to the unit by the individual making the purchase. However, we're verifying the purchase was actually made from the authorized source and accountability has been restored. Copy 2 may be destroyed. The individual making the purchase retains copy 1. The SSSC or CIF retains the original copy of the DA Form 7923. Figure 4-4 shows the flow of cash purchased from the SSSC or CIF, and figure 4-4 depicts inflow and distribution of DA Form 7923 from the time of initiation to the final actions by the Finance and Accounting Office and subsequent return to the initiator. So you guys, that was 4-4. That was 4-4. So if you guys got any questions about anything, just let me know as I'm going through it. If you got any input on some of this stuff, let me know just for clarification. And we're going to go ahead and get into it, you guys. So 4-5. So 4-5. So determining methods to adjust property records. This paragraph outlines the authorized adjustment documents when individuals admit liability, agree to voluntary repayment, and the value of property is not more than 1 month's base pay. Use table 4-1 and 4-2 to determine which document to use to obtain relief from responsibility. The flow charts in 4-1 and 4-3 show the process for determining which document to use for the transaction. So as you see, 4-1, you guys, damage for damaged property. So if it's OCIE, no negligence, it'll be a memorandum to CIF. Damaged property, no negligence involved. No negligence involved, it'll be a damage statement prepared as a memorandum. Any item where the person admits liability and is less than 1 month's base pay would be 7923. Any item where person admits liability and amount is more than the base pay, DD Form 200. Any item person does not admit negligence or liability would be a DD Form 200. Next one is any item other than control items, person admit liability and the amount of this is lost property, you guys. So loss and damage is two different things. Amount of the loss is less than 1 month's base pay. It'll be a DA Form 7923. Next one is inquiry related to the loss of expendable, durable, or non-expendable property with no negligence or willful misconduct suspected. Inquiries would not be used to adjust the following types of items. So it's saying that an adjustment, you can adjust these items right here. You can adjust the control or sensitive items. Can adjust weapons, ammunition, or OCIE. Peripherable items when the unit price is multiplied by the quantity is equal to or greater than $2,500 for each material number. Drugs, under nature alcohol and alcoholic liquors, bulk fuels, monetary assets such as cash, and leased property. And it says you want to list this item, list items on a memorandum per paragraph 12-23. So this is the adjustment memo, you guys. And it says remarks, appointing authority must approve the memorandum and provide quarterly summary to approving authority. Commanders or equivalent civilian supervisors may approve as follows. For company or equivalent using organizations up to 2,500 per loss incident. Battalion and equivalent or above up to 5,000 per incident. So this is an adjustment document, you guys. All right, so this is stuff that requires the initiation of DD Form 200 and or AR 15-6. When directed by higher authority or DA directive, a loss discovered during the inventory, loss of household furnishings. So yeah, and in the remarks you can see where it say includes damage to government-owned family or leased housing units, accompanied housing or furnished and equipment provided by the government for use in unit or accompanied housing. When a person admits liability for loss or damage, but amount of the loss is more than 1 month's base pay. Lost property. Negligence is suspected, but no one admits liability. Of course, person refused to sign DA Form 7923. Bulk petroleum handling loss in gallons is over the allowable loss and over 1,000 in value. Items lost as a result of fire, theft, or natural disaster. Special instructions. Bulk petroleum handling loss is over allowable loss and is less than $500. Loss of hand tools authorized to a unit and liability is admitted. And it says right there, cash sales, only persons must have the authority to buy, signed by the unit commander, supervisor, or designated representative. Respondent purchase from self-service supply center if available, otherwise prepare DA Form 7923. Lost property. Items lost in the field, installation or contracted facilities, laundry facilities. The facility manager will attempt to repair, replace damaged or lost items from surplus stocks. Failing this, the facility manager authorizes a gratuitous replacement for military personnel. For OCIE, the facilities manager prepares a memorandum for the complainant who will present it to his or her commander. Activity, supervisor, or preparation of DD Form 200. Items destroyed because of infection. List the items on a memorandum naming the medical officer who directed the destruction per paragraph 12-19. Destruction of property determined to be unsafe because of age include drugs, ammunition, chemicals, and other supplies of similar nature. Prepare turn-in documents to turn this stuff in, you guys. Information on age is published in Army Supply Bulletins. If such information is not available, initiate a flipper. Okay, you guys, so abandoned items, combat contingency or large-scale field maneuvers, written orders to abandon property signed by appropriate approving authority for the type of property. Approved memorandum is attached to a DD Form 200, serves as the property voucher. That's for abandoned items, you guys. So if you guys got any experience with abandoned items, put it in the comments. Let me know what type of experience do you guys might have in abandoned items. Because it's a lot of abandoned stuff around the unit and stuff, you know what I mean? But most of the time, what we're talking about right now is stuff that's on the property book, you guys. So we're talking about stuff that's actually on the property book. Okay, so let me see what's next. This is just a graph 4-1 graph showing you the process of everything, you guys. And the last section is 4-6, where it's talk about the 7923. So DA Form 7923, it will be used when military and civilian employees admit liability and offer cash payment or agree to payroll deduction to settle the charge of financial liability. So it's military and civilian employees. Contractor admits liability and offers cash payment. If a service member If a service member, the charge does not exceed 1 month's base pay, or if a civilian does not exceed 1/12 an annual salary. Contractors admitting liability will pay for the entire loss or damage statement or damage, no matter the amount, subject to their contract. There is not a mandatory requirement for either a FLIPL or 15-6. Civilians will see their human resource representative for DD Form 2481 for payroll deduction submission. The APO will process DA Form 7923 upon the process DD Form 2481. When a contractor loses equipment and admits liability, the contracting company will work with the contracting officer, property administrator, or the contracting officer representative to ensure the government's property is reimbursed for the loss of equipment. The KO, PA, or CAR will determine the documentation needed to reimburse the government. Okay, so Figure 5-4 depicts the flow and distribution of the DA Form 7923 from the time of initiation to the final actions by the Finance Office and the subsequent return to the initiator. DA Form 7923 may be electrically generated. The electrically generated form must contain all the data elements and follow the exact format of the existing printed form. Replacement by cash, reimbursement, or accounting for a loss with the DA Form 7923 does not constitute a sale or transfer of government property to individuals or non-government entities. The government retains title to all property listed on DA Form 7923 and all property purchased as replacements for lost or damaged property per AR 710-4. Property listed on DA Form 7923 may be recovered before a document, transaction, or voucher number is assigned. When a portion of the items listed is recovered, the commander will line through those recovered items and initial adjacent to the line through. If all the items listed on the DA Form 7923 are recovered before a document or voucher number is assigned, destroy the DA Form 7923. When property listed on the DA Form 7923 is recovered after the collection of the indebtedness in full or in part, or the charges are reduced to improper computation, an amendment will be prepared. The amendment citing the specific alteration will be attached to the DA Form 7923 as an exhibit. A copy of the amendment will be provided to the APO with instructions to reestablish accountability for the recovered property and then forwarded to the Finance Office under a memorandum signed by the commander directing repayment of the value of the recovered property to the individual as a collection erroneously received. And it says, see Chapter 7 for methods to compute the value of loss. So, and then it just talks about the processing steps, you guys, in 4-4, and it goes on to Chapter 5, you guys. So we just covered Chapter 4, basically talking about charging people and stuff like that. You guys got any input on these chapters, on these sections? I know it was a lot, but we made it through. You guys want me to go over any other chapters for future references? You guys can let me know. You can visit this video right here just to do some brushing up on this chapter. Next week, you guys, we're gonna be trying to brush up on chapter 5 next week. Trying to do this low density training for this every week, every Sunday, you guys. So next week we're gonna go over we're gonna do chapter 5 next week, next Sunday. So if you guys got any questions about got any input or further get any new information about this chapter, just let me know. Of course, you guys, If you guys that don't know, I do have books available. I wrote 2 books. The links to my books are in the comment section. So if you want to check that out, also, you guys, you can reach out to me on Soldiers Talk the Podcast or my personal Facebook account and Instagram. You guys, it's Soldiers Talk the Podcast. So that's pretty much all I got for today, you guys. I'll see you guys next Sunday. This has been another episode of Soldiers Talk the Podcast, and I'll see you guys in formation.
Hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun shining in the dark.